Hello viewers, glad to see you again and welcome to Scientific Investing. I hope all of you are doing well and I hope you have subscribed to our channel. If you have not subscribed, subscribe it and press the bell button so that you can get all the updates. So welcome to this new topic. अभी तक हमारे चैनल पे हमने I think fundamental investing देखा है, sector analysis देखा है, हमने कुछ companies analyze करे हैं. We did a small video on Python where I went you through how you can get data regarding the daily price for 50, 100, 500 plus stocks or index for last 10-20 years. So आज का जो टॉपिक है वो थोड़ा बहुत टेक्नोलॉजी साइड पे है and you hear a lot of this buzzword कि quants is the future, algorithms में मैं तो बस algorithms में डील करता हूँ. Machine learning is impacting the financial world in a big way. Companies and mutual funds, they are going quants way. But मुझे लगा कि बहुत confusion है because not everybody comes from tech background, not everybody knows these things. And luckily, I have been in the technology area where I'm a bit exposed to these words. So I thought, why not to make a small video on this? And for that, I have along with me Tanuj, who is my colleague, friend, and actually the scientific investing learning program which we run. Tanuj is a partner in that, and all the technology related components or some of the quants models which we have built. So Tanuj is the guy who in the backend does all the backend programming, and we have good 4-5 years of professional relationship where we have worked on many data science projects together. So that is where we do. So I thought why not to include Tanuj in this discussion, and so that together we discuss what these terms are all about, and not only these terms but बहुत कुछ जैसे आपने मोमेंटम इन्वेस्टिंग सुना होगा, फिर आप मोमेंटम ट्रेडिंग, ट्रेंड इन्वेस्टिंग, फैक्टर इन्वेस्टिंग, लॉट ऑफ टर्म्स यू हियर. सो हम आज एक छोटे से वीडियो में विल ट्राई कि ये सब है क्या एंड व्हाट आर द प्रोज, व्हाट आर द कॉन्स, ऑल ऑफ दैट. So first and foremost, Tanuj, welcome to Scientific Investing YouTube channel. I think
thank you, Saurabh.
We are doing together. So maybe
Yes.
you just give one small intro to our viewers.
Hey, hello everyone. So I am in the field of analytics for last 6 years. I've been working right now with an FMCG company. It's one of the biggest FMCG company in the globe. Before this, I was working with a big IT service provider. So I come with a very long, very good experience in machine learning. And now with Saurabh, I think what we guys are trying to do is to how we can use machine learning, statistics and all these things, right, in the field of finance. That's the idea that we have, and this is where we wanted to move forward as well.
Thanks, Tanuj. And I think many of you know about my background in the stock market side, but I have been on the data science side also professionally, and I have been recognized as one of the top 40 under 40 data scientists in 2019 by Analytics India magazine. So this topic is very close to me professionally also, and I try to apply in my stock market field also. So the agenda that what we are going to cover, we are going to get into details of these terms. But before that, because everybody does either fundamental investing or technical analysis, so let us start from there. And वहां से हम लोग फिर धीरे धीरे फंडामेंटल क्या है, ये क्या है, वो क्या है, से धीरे धीरे क्वांट्स में जाएंगे, धीरे धीरे देखेंगे ये सारे टर्म्स क्या हैं. So Tanuj, you have been with me for at least last 1.5 years. We have been working on some of these algorithms, and I know though you come from pure data science background, but because of this experience you have been exposed to
Right.
fundamental, technical. So what is your understanding of what is fundamental analysis, what is technical analysis?
I think to be very naive, right? I mean, the way that I analyze any fundamental, I mean, I do the fundamental analysis. I mean, it's more of the understanding the economics of a company, right? You study the earnings, you study the cash flows, you study the balance sheet, right? These kind of a thing. This is how like you analyze, okay, how good or how bad a company is. I mean, this is how I do. What's your viewpoint around this?
Yeah, and can you tell about technical? What is your view on technical analysis?
Technical is more around understanding the charts, right? So you try to understand how the price movement is happening, whether it's how the momentum is coming up, how the volume is changing across, right? So the basic nature, which I think, right, one have when he or she's doing the technical analysis is that the price, right, or maybe that factor that we have, right? The fundamental price is already it's already captured in the movement that we are trying to see. So that is a kind of nature, right? Once have when someone tries to do the fundamental analysis.
And how do you think people take their final decision in a, so ultimately सब में वही है, buy करने का या नहीं करने का, sell करने का. How do you think people take their final decision in fundamental analysis and in technical analysis?
I think technical usually people काफी support resistance इसको analyze करते हैं, volumes का analyze करते हैं, candlestick जो होता है एक chart को analyze करते हैं multiple time frame में. I think और fundamental में ज़्यादातर I think which I've seen, right, lot of people doing is they try to analyze in terms of quality, right? Maybe results कैसे change हो रहे हैं, pattern कैसा है, क्या कोई अच्छा news आ रहा है उसका, right? तो उस way में मैंने usually देखा है कि the way that there are two fields of people, right, who try to track these two different companies on these two factors. But again, right, I might be very naive. I think I wanted to hear more about it.
So the thing is, if you see whether we talk of fundamental or we talk of technical, we deal with numbers. Like fundamental hua, so you will look at the balance sheet, you will look at the P&L, you will create ratios, ROCE, ROE, debt equity. If we talk of technical analysis, you deal with the price, you deal with close price, open price, high price, you deal with volume. Numbers dono mein hai.
Yeah.
And the way I see people who are fundamental analysis investors, they do a lot of reading. So number is one side, and then there is a lot of reading. And then there is a qualitative aspect which they build in the mind. They build an image based on the numeric plus qualitative analysis. When it comes to technical, they do a lot of visual analysis. So they look at the chart and they look at the pattern. Koi kehta hai head and shoulder hai, triple top hai, triple bottom hai. So one is a reading and analyzing, one is visualizing and analyzing. So the decision making which happens still remains qualitative. One is the qualitative part of the reading, though they deal with the numbers, but they don't convert into a formula. They don't convert into a score. They don't convert into a rank. They don't convert into a number. They don't convert into a probability. And even in a technical, they look visually at the chart and they feel, okay, out of these 10 charts, this chart looks like it's making a head and shoulder. This is the perfect. But they don't quantify compared to 10 charts. This chart is having 20% probability of going 10% higher. So still there is a qualitative aspect, there is a mental decision making, there is a mental visualization, there is a mental reading, and that is how the decisions are being made. Quants is something which converts all these qualitative thing into something which is measurable. And that is how the word quants come, because quantitative comes from basically quantifying. Can you quantify it? When we analyze company, yeah, go ahead.
Correct. I think I totally understand it, right? So just a question, right? Let's say most of the people come from fundamental and technical viewpoint. How difficult or how easy is for someone to jump right into this field of quants?
So we all do it day in, day out, we do it. If somebody is telling, I will not invest in companies with greater than one debt equity, you are basically having a rule. You have quantified. You have taken a metric and you have quantified it, and you have given a rule that above this, I will not invest. Or if this, I will not invest. So that whole checklist investing is like the first step towards quants investing. Also, many times we don't know, but we are applying quants because we are quantifying our decision-making criteria, and that is how it is. The problem comes is when we try to do it with our mind across 50 parameters, and each of 50 parameters, you can have billions of permutation and combination of rules and the values. A human mind is not built that way, though human mind is much more superior. It can build supercomputers, but it's not built to do these kind of calculations and weightages mentally in a given point of time by analyzing 20 years of data with 2000 companies history. And that is where you need machines and systems which can have that kind of memory to hold all this information, to go through the numerous examples, check all that, and then tell you that, look, if you take debt equity greater than 1, you will be able to make mean return of 10%. But if you take debt equity, less than 0.5, maybe you will get 1% lift on your return based on last 20 years of history. And that is where why you need system and why you need quants. So quants is nothing but quantification of the rules which we try to build in our mind. Now, some of these rules might be built by our domain knowledge, and some of these rules can come by experimenting either through a statistical analysis where you look at one metric, you can divide that metric into different bands and you see how is the performance if the company falls in this band versus that band, or you can build certain algorithms. So Tanuj, why don't you tell, in fact, before we get into that, let me tell you the first book which was ever, I feel, has been written regarding quants investing. There is a book by John Greenblatt, The Little Book Which Still Beats the Market. And let me show you that book. So this is the book I am talking about, The Little Book That Beats the Market. And the beauty of this book is they have picked only two financial metrics: earnings yield and return on capital. I will not get into details of these metrics, but you know, earnings yield is basically, it gives some attractiveness towards the valuation based on the earning, and return on capital tells about the quality of the earnings which they are creating. Book does very simple thing. They do a equated ranking of these two metric for every company, and then they create a final rank by taking equal weight, and they say whichever is company is like top 20, top 30 on this, you put that money in a basket of 30 stocks, and you will see country after country and generation after generation, this kind of system has beaten the market. And that is like a simple rule-based investing, which is also a quants. So I think this is the most simplest book written on quants. And of course, then there are books like What Works on Wall Street. The beauty of this book is it talks about a single metric like PE ratio or a price to sales ratio, price to book ratio, but it gives you all the 50-year backtesting history that, how this ratio performed. If you invested in companies within this PE band to that PE band, what is the alpha you generated? What was your Sharpe ratio? What is the biggest drawdown you say, you have? So even though from a metric perspective, it's, it works on a unit metric concept, like one single metric and then finding, but from framework perspective, it exposes you that, how to measure, how to backtest and all of that. So I think these two are best book just to start to get a flavor of quants investing. So now my question to you, Tanuj,
so I think how do I relate it, right? Because I think the good part is because both of us come from a data science background. We have seen the data, right? And human, I mean, we always say that yes, humans are really powerful. They can do a lot of complicated things, but humans can also make error, right? Their adjustment. I mean, there is so much of error that we have seen a lot of people make. The good part that at least I understand from all this conversation is we have data, we have huge data with us. The complication which is there with humans, at least that is gone when you think about a system in place, right? Like the way you talked about an algorithm, a system. Don't you think, I mean, there might be pros and cons. Maybe I just wanted to understand more around that as well.
Yeah, so see, when we talk as a humans and we take our decisions, we are nothing but we are a reflection of our experiences.
Right.
If somebody burns his hand with a financial banking company, he will think 10 times. Or, we all talk, Are Hyderabad ki company hai, mat ghuso. Now, what is that Hyderabad ki company? It doesn't mean every company of Hyderabad will be a fraud company. But there is a mental bias because we all have seen that kind of image of Satyam. So humans, we are a reflection of our own biases. And these biases can sometimes make us get into wrong side of investing, or sometimes can stop us from making the right decisions. What happens with quants and all those systems is you go with a process and rule based investing with a belief that, look, this has worked 65% of the time in last 20 years, so I'm assuming it is going to work. So in that way, it helps us to overcome our own biases. Second is, you may not be required to put so much of effort, like ye padho, wo padho, ye annual report padho. It might be a system where everything is happening through the programming language and you get a rule and you just believe in that rule. So these are the advantages. But if you see at the con side, in our machine learning, they say, I mean, we work on hundreds of projects and actually 10 or 15 models, they get implemented. So 85 models fail, and those 10 models also they are not going to work for life. It might be working today and it may not work after 6 months. And I will give you one example, just hold it. When we talk about momentum investing, I will give you a very interesting example relevant in current scenario, which will highlight what are the cons of the quant side. So let's hold for that example. And so I hope by now everybody knows what is quants investing simple rule, and that is how it is. Now, where all this factor investing, momentum investing, trend investing, algorithm comes, we will discuss about that also. So to summarize now, quants investing is basically about converting our decision-making parameters into some statistical or mathematical model, or rules, where finally you get a decision-making quantitative number. That number could be a rank of 10 decisions, like I have 10 companies, I rank 10, and then I go with top 3, or I give a score and which company scores highest, even that is quants. Or I can build some sophisticated algorithms like now, because we are talking, let me get into a little bit of data science. So Tanuj, we work on something called decision tree. We work a lot. So decision tree is nothing but a set of rules.
Yeah.
But let us say I have my own set of rules and Tanuj has his own set of rules. And somebody who is the decision maker, he has equal trust in Tanuj and me. So he will say, okay, looks like you two are doing good, but your results are different. I don't know which result to go. What I will do is I will give you 10 scenarios and both of you tell me what will happen. I will take a voting, and wherever, if 7 out of those 10 scenarios you are agreeing, I will go with that. So think about many such Tanuj and Saurabh. Each have built their own decision tree, and you take a voting and then you go with the best. So that becomes like tree of trees, which is called random forest. Basically, we are explaining you algorithms. These are the algorithms which are there in the market. So, that is how it works, where you can have a simple rule to complicated rule, but ultimately your decision making is quantified either in terms of a probability or in terms of score or in terms of a rank. So that is what quants investing is all about. And then we have different types of quant investing, like
Saurabh, I just wanted to add one point here.
Yeah.
I think very good example that you mentioned, right? The guys, the good part with this is you have data. You have all the historic data with you. Whatever rules, whatever patterns, whatever score that you're doing, right? You can check this on the basis of the data, on the previous data that you have. Like Saurabh mentioned, right? There could be so many rules. Every one of us have put different rules in order to quantify it. But maybe Saurabh rule will be the best. My rule will be the second. Some others will be the third one. How do I quantify it? How do I say which is good, which is bad? The data. That is where the power of data science comes. The data is the crux of all of it, right? I mean, there are
another thing is, when we think in terms of data, it doesn't matter a lot. Like for those, somebody can convert all the financial metric into a quantitative system and decision making. Somebody can convert the technical indicators. But let's say if the question is which stock is going to perform best in next 6 months, somebody can do it through financial indicators, somebody can do it through technical, somebody can combine both indicators. So financial is a domain, financial analysis is a domain, technical analysis is a domain, but the crux of that domain is the data, and that data goes into algorithm, and the algorithm can have financial parameter, it can have technical parameter. So you can say it's a quantified financial model, quantified technical model, or you can blend both of them. You can say it's a quantified techno-funda model, but that is what quantification is all about.
Completely makes sense.
Yeah. So Tanuj, have you read about factor investing? What is your view on what is factor investing all about?
Factors, I think factor investing, Saurabh, is something that captures, let's say, two factors, something called microeconomic and the style factors that you have, right? I mean, the idea is for someone to get more return, right? There is a comparative return that I have, but now the idea is to get more return. How do I do this? I consider it on the two bases. I could either go through, let's say, the microeconomic way of understanding it, or through a style way of doing it. That is how I understand.
Yeah. So basically, whenever you want to identify, do the driver analysis of any asset class return, and that is where what are the factors which are driving.
Yeah.
So if asset class price goes up or it goes down, what are the factors which are driving that asset class? Let's say if equity is an asset class and we say, okay, interest rate ghatega, to valuation to apne aap badhna chahiye because of whatever, discount logic and all. But basically you are trying to say that, look, interest rate is a driver, which drives the valuation of equity asset class. Now, how do you quantify it? How do you establish how much it should drive all of that? The study of all of that is factor investing. And as you said, there are two types. One is the macroeconomic, which focuses basically on the impact of inflation or your interest rate or these kind of macroeconomic variables on any asset class like a equity or a debt or a gold. And then there is styles of investing. Like we say ki, value investor paisa banata hai, momentum investor paisa banata hai. Some of them are very opposite to each other. Basically, these are styles. One is more suited towards the price. One is more suited towards कि मेरा cash flow कितना cover हो रहा है valuation में. Now again, the question is what drives the gains? Is it only the price which drives the gains, or is it also the earnings which drives the gain? Is it management quality which drives the gain? So somebody who wants to understand how much these drivers like quality or price or momentum or value, they contribute to the returns on asset class. And it could be again through various metric. Quality could be through, what is the return on capital company has generated over 10 years, or there could be growth. Understanding all these factors, how they contribute to the asset class, that is what is the other style based. And that is where the different styles of investing has emerged. So this is what factor investing is all about. And then you do all the statistical analysis and all. And in fact, if you want to understand factor investing in detail, on YouTube, you will find a 5-series lecture by videos by, PPAFS. I think Parag Parikh, they make beautiful videos. Rajiv sir, he has put a lot of effort. Maybe you can go through those 5 videos about to learn in detail about factor investing. So given we have covered, we started with, fundamental, technical, then we identified what is quants and how, fundamental and technical gets converted into quants, areas of quants. We covered factor investing, and one of the style is momentum, because, everybody talks about momentum and trend investing. So Tanuj, what's your understanding? Because we have written a lot of algorithms. See, one thing I would like to tell for the viewers. So though I entered into the market first time in 2007, but I entered as a knave, and I lost like all the money, and then I was away for almost 6-7 years. So active entry with some decent amount of knowledge, that has happened from 2016, and that's hardly 6 years of history. And because I was in data science, I started looking from that angle also. But usually when you are unknown to a field, you read a lot of books and then you enter. When it came to financial analysis, I read books and I did. When it came to technical analysis, I read books and I did. But when it came to quants, because I was in this field, it was more like an on-job learning. So even when I was building things, I didn't know that, okay, this thing has been, created like in this pattern as a theory. So many times I never knew that I'm building something which is a dual momentum, or, which is, this kind of trend investing. It was more like I built it, and then when I started learning about the history, what literature has been created, I realized that, okay, this is how the industry calls this term. So I just wanted to give some information, because both me and Tanuj, the way we have learned is it's more of an on-ground learning, because we knew this concept. We had some technical knowledge, fundamental knowledge. We started doing our experiments. But later on, we started reading a lot of things, a lot of literature, because we felt that is also important. So that's a background I want to give, because that is the reason why I'm asking, because we didn't read first momentum investing and build these models. We built some of the models and then we realized, okay, this is called momentum investing. So Tanuj, given we have built these models and you have started doing some reading about momentum investing, what is your understanding of, momentum investing?
I mean, momentum is something, right? We talk about rate of change, right? So the way our prices are changing, that could be one of the way that you can judge, right? And like this is something we have seen in the market really frequent, right? And in a market right now, we see that it's a momentum, how the prices are going up. It could be multiple factors that could influence it. Something that we just talked about, something called factor investing, right? There might be multiple things which are driving it. I mean, one very simple thing which I'm coming right now in my mind is something called volume, right? We see that how volume is impacting my price. I mean, that's how I understand it. Maybe you can add more, Saurabh.
Okay. Yeah. So basically momentum, as you said, is about the price thing and rate of change of price. And the higher the rate of change, in the uptrend, the more the momentum. So in technical, we say the trend analysis, one of the basic principles of technical analysis is trend, like something which is in trend, it will remain in trend. And that is how I see momentum in investing philosophy, getting inspired from that. You try to see the momentum or the trend, and the stronger is the trend, more is the momentum, and you invest until that momentum is intact. You ride that momentum. So it is the analysis of price, and of course volume. I won't say volume is a factor, but I would say volume is a determinant to understand how strong is the momentum, because ultimately there are people who drive the market, and how you understand the behavior of people, what they are buying and how much quantity they are buying. So if somebody is buying in huge quantity and price is going up, it looks good because he has a lot of trust. So volume is nothing but it's a reflection of the buyer demand and supply. So price gives you the momentum information, and volume gives you the demand supply equation to understand how strong is the demand and supply.
But
So,
okay,
yeah,
so
tell me.
yeah, so I think whenever I read about momentum, right, a lot of people say that it has a high momentum or low, right? How do you quantify momentum? What is high? What is
Okay,
low?
so let me ask you a question. Let us say there is a stock, let's say Infosys है, और Infosys 1,000 रुपए पे था 2 महीने पहले, और 2000 में 1,000 रुपए से 1,200 रुपए चला गया. Tell me, what do you think? Is it a strong momentum, weak momentum?
I'll say strong momentum.
Why?
I mean, but it depend. I mean, it might be happen that in like next 2 days, this kind of a change happened.
Okay.
I mean, I'm just quantifying it.
What
Right?
if I tell you there are 100 stocks? Infosys was one of the stock which in 2 months went from 1,000 to 1,200, which is 20% jump.
Yeah, yeah.
Other 99 stock, all these stocks went 100% up.
Then it's not. Yeah. You can't measure
If I
it.
tell you all the 99 stocks were minus 20% down, and Infosys was the only stock which was 20% up.
I think in this way, I'll say that there was a momentum, a high momentum.
Okay. And what if I tell you before that 2 months, in the previous 2 months, Infosys was only 2% up, but in the last 2 months, Infosys is 20% up.
It's called high momentum. It is having a high.
So basically, you are having a frame of reference, and then that frame of reference, it's like, हमने स्कूल में सीखा था कि ये लाइन को छोटा कैसे करोगे, तो एक लाइन बनाते हैं और छोटा करने के लिए एक और बड़ा लाइन बना देते हैं, एंड देन जैसे देखो बड़ा लाइन छोटा हो गया. I think it's the same basic. So you need a frame of reference to tell if something is good or bad. So whether this is a strong momentum or not, you need a frame of reference. And that frame of reference could be from the stock itself, its own past history, or the frame of reference could be the peer stock. And that is where you get different types of momentum investing, whether it's absolute momentum investing or relative. So what we do, any algorithm or any set of rule which is inspired from absolute momentum investing, they take the same stock price and they will take like maybe from 12 months back, today what is the increase in the price, and let's say you have 100 such companies, and the company which has shown the highest increase in price from last 12 months, that gets the ranking one. Now the question is, why 12 months? Why it cannot be 6 months? Why it cannot be 3 months? So remember, we discussed about the cons of the quants investing. So I'll tell you, there is a very interesting blog I read. So this, when you convert all these things into algorithm, everything is a parameter, and this is the parameter which decides the return. So earlier, many people who built absolute momentum strategies, it was based on the 12-month, and actually the 12-month had beaten 3 months between 2000 to 2010. I think this was a study of the US market. What has happened between 2010 to 2020? The 3-month absolute reference momentum has beaten the 12-month by a big margin. So, 10 years, this particular strategy worked and that underperformed. Now, this last 10 years, that strategy is working and this is underperforming. We are still discussing about momentum. We are still discussing about absolute momentum. All we have done is one parametric change. The value has changed and the whole return changed. So you cannot rely on a quants that if it has worked for 10 years, it is going to work forever. It will change, and the beauty lies in identifying that change and be very nimble footed to shift from one to another to understand, because nothing is going to work for if forever, and no strategy works forever, as every strategy underperforms. The beauty lies in how do we identify, or can we diversify by having some kind of, less correlated, decorrelated models, and so that if one starts underperforming, other takes care. So these are some of the cons I remember, and I hope now you understand. So absolute momentum में आप उसी स्टॉक को लेते हो, उसके प्रीवियस प्राइस से, वो टाइम कुछ भी हो सकता है, 3 महीना 6 महीना, आप एनालाइज करते हो और फिर सारे स्टॉक्स को रैंक करते हो. रिलेटिव में क्या होता है कि आप एक रिलेटिव रेफरेंस लेते हो between two stocks, or let's say stock versus its index, and then you analyze कि कौन सा better कर रहा है, कौन सा खराब कर रहा है, then you rank it. So it's absolute comparison, relative comparison, and that is how different kind of momentum investing strategies emerge. But it's all about having the price action or the price trend and finding which is the strongest, and the strongest is by measuring return from this period to that period, either in absolute sense or with some kind of clear benchmarking. So we covered momentum investing also. What about all this AI and machine learning hype? We hear a lot. So you come from machine learning background. So what is your view? How it is impacting all of this, and what is machine learning first?
Yeah, I think before we talk about machine learning, right, Saurabh, I think Indian market में Reliance सबको पता है, right? Reliance is a company which everyone understands. Now, Mukesh Ambani, like you remember once he talked about data is the new oil. I mean, imagine a company which was into a business of petrochemicals and all, right? What not they were doing. They are switching into a whole technology-driven company. Why it is happening? Because of data. Everyone. I mean, this is a crux of it, right? This is how I understand why it's so important. Around us, when you see everything that we guys are doing, we are using our phones, laptops, right? Maybe the WhatsApp we are doing, or going to Amazon, Netflix, we are generating data. That's what we are doing. How Google is earning money? People have this question, right? Google is free to us, right? They don't charge anything, but how they earn money? They have data. They have your data, right? So data is everything, right? Data is everything. And the good part is you can actually get good insights from data. Something that we talked about before, right? That bias that we have, right? People have biases. Data don't have bias, right? I mean, even data could have bias. That bias you can remove, right? But the good part is you can take multiple insights from the data. So this is the whole field of machine learning. It's start emerging. So, I mean, some of our viewers, right, might be coming from a technical background. I don't know, but might have seen their friends or their children's, right, writing codes. A lot of people used to write a lot of codes before, right? If I have to do something, I'll go and write a code in Python or maybe Java or something. But now what happened is you have data. What you can do is you can design a system, a software code, or an algorithm that we're talking about. You pass a lot of data to that, and you say that algorithm, hey, I give you this, maybe in our terms that we talk about, right? What we do, we'll say, मुझे रिटर्न ज्यादा चाहिए, मुझे अपना रिटर्न को मैक्सिमाइज करना. मैंने एक एल्गोरिथम लिखा जिसमें मैंने बहुत सारे रूल्स लिखे, जो हमने रूल्स की बात करी, और मैंने उसको डेटा दिया, और मैंने अपने एल्गोरिथम को ये बोला है कि वो एल्गोरिथम लर्न करे कि मेरा किस हिसाब से मेरा जो रिटर्न है वो मैक्सिमाइज हो जाए. So it will come up with this whole rules, patterns, everything on its own to find that ultimate goal of maximizing that return. And this is how the whole field of machine learning comes, where you have a code which learns from the data in order to optimize a task or do that task. I hope I was able to clear certain questions around it, or maybe you can add more.
So Tanuj, as you well explained how these algorithms work and why data is important. But coming to data, so whenever it comes to data, we have only 2-3 ways of thinking. या तो कुछ fundamental data उठाओ, financial data उठाओ, या फिर technical data उठाओ जो price volume से है, उसको फिर RSI का उठाओ, उसके against rule build करो. Do you think machine learning can evolve much beyond that, and can it process data beyond that and still say about buy and sell behavior? What is your opinion based on what is happening in the data science world?
Right. I think around this, right, Saurabh, what I think is there is a whole field, right, of called natural language processing, which is called text, right? I mean, text is something that we see across everywhere. So when I talk about this finance, right, you have all your con calls. All the con calls which happens, they have the text data present. maybe what simple thing I can just think about right now is we can do a simple sentiment analysis, right? Quarter by quarter, किस तरीके से sentiment change हो रहा है, right? Whether sentiment is positive, negative, or the management. So that could be a very good sort of a call to us in order to justify whether a sentiment or a mood of a company is positive or not. There is one more field, or I mean, और भी analysis कर सकते हैं, but एक काफी simple analysis ये है. एक काफी सिंपल, हमने चार्ट्स के बारे में बहुत बात किया. वी टॉक अबाउट चार्ट्स, राइट? जैसे हमने टेक्निकल के बारे में बात किया कि चार्ट्स के एनालाइज करते हैं. यू हैव मोमेंटम्स, यू हैव ट्रेंड एंड एवरीथिंग. There is a whole field of called image analytics as well, right? Image is like a very simple thing if I have to tell about everyone, right? Image, हम जैसे बात करते हैं कि जैसे बहुत ही सिंपल एग्जांपल, राइट? जहाँ काफी आजकल इमेज लॉट ऑफ पीपल आर यूजिंग, जैसे सेल्फ ड्राइविंग कार्स होती है, राइट? सेल्फ ड्राइविंग कार्स कैसे मूव करेंगे? देयर आर सो मच ऑफ कार्स विच आर गोइंग ऑन, राइट? अगल बगल हर जगह, बट इट नीड्स टू एनालाइज द राइट पाथ फॉर इट. उस जगह कोई डेटा, तो डेटा क्या है? डेटा उसकी इमेजेस है, जो हर टाइम पे एक इमेज कैप्चर हो रही है कैमरा से. वो उसको देखकर इट ट्राइज टू सी वेदर देयर इज अ कार जस्ट नेक्स्ट टू your car or there is a people who standing in front of you. It takes decision. So you can also take decision on the basis of images. And now for us, for people like you, everyone of us who are watching this video, right? For us, important data is image of our chart itself. A lot of decisions people could actually take on the basis of charts, the charts that you see on the daily basis, right? I mean, any other things, or I mean, these are the two things which are coming in my mind right now. You can add more.
I think you highlight this very interesting point about image. So, no, we started with technical analysis where we visualize these charts through a head and shoulder pattern or triple top, which, people have done research and they have proven that it works most of the time. And then we quantified some of these things into rules. Like, I think we did a charting webinar a few weeks back where, we took one of the trend investing styles and we converted into rules. Yeah. Like the rules were like closing price 20 के ऊपर, 20, 50 के ऊपर, 50, 200 के ऊपर है. The RSI is, let's say, above 50. Let's say the volume, there is some change. So basically we try to convert that chart into numbers, and when all those number and rules get hit, you get a point, and then we say, okay, your entry should be at good risk reward, which means let's say the stock has just touched the 30-week moving average or 20-week moving average. So basically, first we are trying to identify a bucket which is an uptrend. We are trying to then identify a good risk reward where, if it works, it works well for you. If it doesn't work, you lose 4-5%. So that was another way of quantifying. Now, this is the third way where we are not actually this quantification is happening, but it is happening through the pixel, through the size. It will take a candlestick and it will take length of that candlestick and it will try to identify multiple things. So this is the third way of doing. And the beauty of data science or machine learning is, many times it helps us to go beyond what, the usual way of thinking. Like you told about text analytics. So many of us, we read hundreds of annual reports. Right. There is a best practice, it is said कि 5 साल का annual report और 10 साल का उठाओ और पिछले साल से पढ़ो और देखो कि पहले साल मैनेजमेंट ने क्या प्रॉमिस किया और दूसरे साल किया कि नहीं, तीसरे साल किया कि नहीं. What are we doing? We are trying to look for patterns of performance. आप एक कंपनी उठा के 5 साल ऐसा कर सकते हो, बड़ा जब 1000 कंपनी का 10 एनुअल रिपोर्ट उठाओ और पूछे कोई कि 10,000 एनुअल रिपोर्ट में कॉमन पैटर्न बताओ, मुश्किल हो जाता है. That is where again, these kind of technology in data science comes, which can churn all this text data and identify. Many times we say, okay, मेरे को एनुअल रिपोर्ट पढ़ के वो अच्छा फील नहीं आया, कुछ तो गोचा लगता है, ये बंदा जो चला रहा है. The way he uses and the way he uses all these, people now get skeptic about companies which talk a lot about moat, because everybody has learned कि 1000 moat का word डाल दो तो लोगों को annual report पसंद आएगा. So basically it's same domain knowledge, but really if that word is harmful for an investor or not, maybe you can go through all the annual report analysis, identify how many companies have used maximum number of word as moat, they really performed, or you compare with the numbers they are talking. I remember one chemical company using the word R&D, at least 50 times in the annual report, and their R&D expense was not even 0.1% of the revenue. So what if I can do a simple, I'm not even getting into algorithms, a very simple descriptive word count and then rank companies and match with the financial numbers just to highlight what they're talking and what they're doing, does it make sense or not? So I think,
Correct.
yeah, as you said, these areas like image analytics, NLP, I think these are the there is huge opportunity and a lot of experimentations required to see, what is working and what is not working. And a lot of hypotheses could get tested and a lot of new insights could come if we try to apply machine learning in these areas. And machine learning, it doesn't restrict to financial analysis, it doesn't restrict to technical. It looks data with the unbiased lens, and then it tries to see if there is any value coming out of that data. So machine learning is like something which is really, really powerful. And we have heard about fundamental, technical, techno funda, but I don't know what word to coin, but you can go beyond that and still machine learning will work for you. So that is where, all these technologies come, and whether you create algorithm or fundamental, or you create a set of rule on annual report or on a con call transcript, or you create an algorithm on an image, everything is, AI and machine learning. And the field is vast. I mean, more than these terms, basically what matters is, and having a theoretical definition, what matters is कि हमें मोटा मोटी समझ में आता है कि नहीं आता है, and what are the areas can we resonate with, and how much we can practice and see if there is a value on this or not. So I think we had a good discussion, and I hope our viewers, you understand now what are these terms and all. What we will do is, in some of the next session, we will pick one of these areas of investing and we will take some real example and try to, we will, like, if we pick momentum, we'll go in detail. What is the absolute momentum? We will take example. We'll explain how it works. We could even sometime, maybe Tanuj, we can write few lines of Python code and explain. So we'll try to do in some other session, but I hope, the basic setup of what are these terms now everybody understands. So thanks for your time. Thanks for watching this. If you are watching till now, and if you're not subscribed, again, subscribe to our channel, and I will see you in the next video. And Tanuj, thanks for coming. Thank you.